Hello everyone, this is Aileen Boundy of alignwithyourpurpose.com, and this is the recovery thought for the day. I'm just going to put my glasses up because I'm getting a strange reflection there. I hope I can see what I'm doing now. And today I'd just like to share a few thoughts with you about changing your perspective. And although what I'm going to talk about is not obviously related to any aspect of recovery, I think it's a pretty general story that I'm sure you'll be able to relate to. So last summer I was living in the UK, as I do, and looking forward to spending some holiday time with my family in Greece, where some of them live, or some of them were living at that point. And, you know, if you listen to the news, which I don't tend to an awful lot, to be honest, because I don't like the negativity, but if you listen to the news in the UK, it sounds like everything is going downhill, things are really bad, times are hard, it's very difficult to make ends meet for lots of people are losing their jobs, there's all sorts of negative things going on. And if you buy into that kind of negative way of looking at things, it can really affect the way that you think about your life. And because I was always in touch with friends and family living in Greece, I had a different perspective because I could always say, well, you may think it's bad here, but the people in Greece are having a really tough time of it economically. You know, everyone knows what's happening with Greece. The economy's shot, basically. And I mean, it's a very complex situation, which I'm not about to go into in the next couple of minutes. You'll be pleased to hear. But all I'm trying to say is that because I had this other reality for people I'm close to, it made me feel grateful for what I have here in England, where I live. And so I went to Greece last summer, last August, as some of you know, and I spent some time in Athens, and then I went to the island of Kos, where some of my family live. And while I was on Kos, that's where a lot of the refugees from Syria, Afghanistan, places, in the Middle East come to. Kos is one of the islands that you may have heard of, Lesbos as well, which is a little further north than Kos, but it's one of the islands that's very close to the Turkish coast, only about between 3 and 4 miles. You can see it just across the water, looking across the beach. And so because it's a very narrow strait to cross by boat, it's being chosen as one of the easiest ways to get into Europe. And so when I got to the island of Kos, it was absolutely overrun with refugees who had arrived by boat and were waiting to be processed on an island where there was no infrastructure to do this. And I'm not criticizing, I'm just trying to make an observation. And the thing that did for me was it showed me that even though the Greeks are living in desperate times and, really living hand to mouth, a lot of them, and struggling to pay their bills and so on, the Greek people of Kos did whatever they could to help these refugees who had even less than them, who left their homes, who came with literally what they could carry, with a backpack maybe, and a hope that they were moving towards a better future. And people, even though they had nothing, were giving their time, their spare blankets, their clothes, their spare food, putting all sorts of things. And there have been, consistent efforts by both local people on the islands and Greeks on the mainland and people all through Europe. Many people went on holiday, especially to go and help with the refugees. So, and this was a real eye opener for me in a sense. I mean, it's one thing to read about it in the newspapers and see it on the television. It's something else to walk through a town and see families living in tents on the grass on the side of the road, and it just really made me think. And so I would just like to offer that as a way of shifting perspective. That, you know, there but for the grace of God go I. We don't know. We're very lucky to be born and live in a relatively stable country at the moment. It is anyhow, and I'm sure the people who were fleeing Syria, you know, several years ago, lived a relatively stable, ordinary life, and now it's not. It's the whole country has been bombed and destroyed, and they're coming here. And all I want to offer from this story today is an opportunity to think about, you know, maybe I can easily find something to feel grateful for today. That the things that we are important are not the material things that we often surround ourselves by and worry about, but they're actually the important things are the relationships that we have with people we love, with people we're close to, with people we can help. And I'm really encouraged by the grassroots movement of people who just stepped up to help these refugees when they were in their greatest need, because it all happened so quickly. There was no time for you know, official measures to be put into place, and those things are always very slow anyhow. So it's left to ordinary people to do the right thing, and you know, when they see a fellow human in need, to help them. Um, so I just wanted to share that story with you as my shift in perspective from, you know, beginning in the UK and things are terrible here, to going to Greece where it was much more difficult, and even there seeing people who were a lot worse off than the Greeks were and than we were. And it just really makes you think, and makes you grateful for every day. So once again, I would just encourage you to keep whatever worries you have, keep your thoughts in the day and let go of the rest. Okay, that's all for today. It was a little bit different today, but I hope you enjoyed listening. And if you have, and you'd like to hear more, then please hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll get notifications. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.